Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Jim Fear podcast. This fucking hat off. Alright. Really guys, I feel fucking terrible. Not like physically, I actually feel pretty good. But I feel terrible about this channel, man. Because it feels like when I first started out into YouTube and I would upload and I would get on fire for a couple of months there, and then I would just get bored and go on hiatus for no fucking reason, and then like half a year later I would come back and shit like that. And I'm really not trying to do that, guys. It's just for the past 3 weeks when I haven't been at work, at my job, and like I say, I'm gone from the house for damn near 12 hours out of the day, just about. Yeah, almost 12 hours out of the day. I'm just out of the house. I don't have access to a computer. I can't work on, what I really want to be working on, which is stuff like this channel and these audiobooks and shit like that. And when I'm not doing that, I'm either asleep or I've been working on the audiobook for Andrew Beery, the Catherine Kimbridge Chronicles, which, by the way, was completed and turned in Thursday. So, usually it takes, the guy messaged me, he said he really liked the job that I did, so I was super happy about that. I was editing it, though, and, not having access to those tricks, like putting static over it, or background music, or, sound effects and stuff like that, not having access to those tricks has really, just made me realize how much I need to step my game up. I need to keep my mouth hydrated. I need to work out my voice acting a little bit better. I need to keep a flow chart, an Excel chart of characters and what voices I have for them. Because I've never done this playing 40 different characters at once thing, and it's very new and it's very confusing. And it's very difficult to keep all of that straight, and I didn't keep all of that straight for several chapters of that book. So I need to kind of step my game up with that. I need to kind of come up with different voices for these characters and really flex my voice acting muscles and get them strong. But yeah, in 10 to 14 days, that should be going up, so I'll put some promotional material up that Mr. Beery sent me. And I'll direct you guys to the store page, and I'll put a link in the description when it finally goes up and everything like that, all that good shit. And then I'll probably plug it every week on my podcast, just because I'll be so fucking proud to have the fruits of my labor up for sale somewhere. But yeah, I'm intending on doing that a lot. Mr. Beery's already sent me the next book in the series. It's book 8. I just got done with book 7. So there's some backstory that you're not going to get from the book that I did. But they're not long and they're not expensive. You could get everything up to what I've done for under $60, probably. And then I'm not sure what mine is going to cost. So we'll have to see. I think that's if you're a member, though. I don't know what they cost regular. I didn't check that. All I cared about was the price that I was going to have to pay to be able to listen to the books. So, if you're not a member of Audible, then you might have to shell out a little bit extra. It might be $13, $14, something like that. But yeah, I'm really fucking sorry, guys. It's not lack of interest. I'm on fucking fire for this shit. This is what I want to do. After getting this audiobook done, despite the fact that I had to do for an entire day off, I did almost literally nothing but sit at my computer table and my computer desk and edit. That was it. I just sat there and fucking edited for 10 hours straight. I didn't move. I barely went to the bathroom. I just sat there and I fucking worked and worked and worked and worked and worked. So if anybody out there wants to talk shit about audiobook production, especially one-man audiobook production like I'm doing, fuck you. You ain't got no kind of idea about what goes on in this business. And I didn't either until really a couple of days ago, because I'd been in it about, I don't know, a month and a half, something like that. But yeah, this is not easy, balancing this and the YouTube channel and a fucking full-time job, which are cutting my hours at the full-time job, so I'm looking for something else. I'm hoping to make decent enough money at the audiobooks where I can just do that and the YouTube channel and just devote all my time to that shit, and then, you know, we'll be good. I'll be able to pay bills and shit like that. That would be the fucking dream right there, because this is what I want to do, because I've already contacted a bunch of authors about adapting their stories for my YouTube channel, and they've been like, yeah, sure. Like, I even got Vincent Vinacava. I think I told you guys this. But I've got like 5 or 6 stories from different authors that I want to do that have actually, like, I got in contact with them and they gave me permission. I'm still waiting to hear back from Michael Whitehouse. I don't think he's going to get me back. I might want to email him again. But I was listening to A Scanner Darkly. Like, apparently my Audible thing renewed automatically. No idea how that works. I assume it's magic, because I don't know technology from Adam. So I assume it was magic, but I got another credit and I used it to get like, well, like a credit is like $14.95, $15, something like that. And with the discount, A Scanner Darkly was like 20. So I got like $5 off. But I picked up the A Scanner Darkly audiobook. And if you want a really, really good book and a really, really good narration, get that. It's narrated by Paul Giamatti. And if you don't know who Paul Giamatti is, you probably just don't recognize his name. So I actually have Wikipedia open. Now if I can... Giamatti, there we go. Remember how to spell his fucking name. Yeah, I was looking at The Witcher, because I wanted to get The Witcher audiobooks, because I started playing the games, and the games are pretty cool, but I'd kind of like to see where it came from, you know what I mean? But anyway... Yeah, let me see if I can get... Like, if you've ever seen John Dies at the End, he was Arnie. Let's see, he was... Let's see if I... Like, what's a really good... He was the control room director in The Truman Show. Sergeant Hill in Saving Private Ryan. Really? Really? He was in Saving Private Ryan? Damn. He was Marty Wolf in Big Fat Liar. Wow, he was Shorty in Paycheck. Paycheck is another Philip K. Dick story that got adapted into a movie. He was Joe Gould in Cinderella Man. He was Carl Hertz in Shoot 'Em Up. Shoot 'Em Up is a great movie. Shoot 'Em Up is the best fucking... Well, Shoot 'Em Up movie. It's so stupid. It's awesome. Let me see if there's another good one in here. Wow, he was in Straight Outta Compton. I really am going to have to just sit down and fucking watch this movie one day. But Paul Giamatti did an amazing job with A Scanner Darkly. So that's an audiobook that I highly recommend. But I was thinking about it, and I was doing some research on the book, and it turns out that Philip K. Dick's wife at the time of writing it owns half the rights to it. She owns half the fucking book. Like, she gets paid every time that book gets sold. Or an adaptation of that book gets sold. And I was thinking about it. And that's like my absolute favorite Philip K. Dick story ever. I think it's the best one he's ever written. Like, it's better than Man in the High Castle. It's better than Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep. Yeah, it's just fucking phenomenal. It's the best, like, that's god tier Philip K. Dick right there. That's the pinnacle of what he fucking did. Everything else is secondary to A Scanner Darkly. So if you never read another Philip K. Dick book, read A Scanner Darkly. But I really want to adapt that into an audio drama, like with sound effects and fully voiced and everything like that. Like, get people to do voices for all of the characters and shit. And I did, like I say, I was doing some research and I found out that his wife not only owns part of the rights to that book, she's still alive. And I managed to find her email address. But I don't have the time to put that together right now. Like, no matter how badly I want to. Because, see, that's what I want to do. I really want to turn this into a business. I want to take, like, commissions and shit. Preferably for other, like, internet people. That way we could, kind of cross-promote each other, because, I don't know, something about doing stuff for corporations, they just seem a lot more dishonest than your average guy trying to get his audiobook out there, or get his book out there and do an audiobook version of it. Maybe I'm just being naive. But what I really want to do is this. I want to turn this into a business. Not just a podcast, but, you know, creating soundscapes and turning stories into audio dramas and stuff like that. And it really, I think, is the time for it, because you had, like, when radio was getting big, there was a lot of audio dramas and audio radio shows coming out. People would even read books on the radio, just do, like, the original audiobooks. Like the, was it Orson Welles? Who read War of the Worlds? You know what I'm fucking talking about. The War of the Worlds broadcast, which it turns out wasn't actually as big of a deal as it's made out to be. That's kind of an urban legend. But anyway. Nowadays, a lot of people are, like, listening to podcasts and audiobooks. Because you have corporations out here. And Aaron Clary has made this point, and I don't think... I rarely agree with someone as much as I agree with this. But there's a lot of, like, corporate office jobs where people work on computers all day. And the bosses haven't realized that they could save a lot of money by just letting people work from home, because just about everybody has a computer at home now. You could just work from home and then email your shit in, and you wouldn't have that fucking 2-hour commute there and back. But since a lot of people have that commute, they're looking for stuff like audiobooks and podcasts to listen to. So now it really is kind of like the strike while the iron is hot moment, and that's what I'm trying to do. And if I didn't need startup money, if I could just start doing this, and because I mean it took like a full month and a fucking half to get this book, to get accepted to do this book, and to get it completed and sent in, and then it's going to take another fucking 10 to 14 days, probably 14 days if I know Amazon, to get it up and ready for sale. So I'm not going to be collecting money off of that work for, you know, another 2 weeks. So it takes time to get started in this business, but it's not a bad business, and it's what I'd really rather be doing. I would have more time for everything if I didn't have to worry about my fucking day job and I could just do this. But hey, we're gonna just have to, like, grit our teeth and bear it, and I'm gonna try and get more content up here. Maybe I'll do some stories that don't really require background noises and sound effects and stuff like that, just to get something out, because it's burning the shit out of me that the only thing I've been able to upload for the past, like, 4 or 5 weeks has been the podcast. It really, really pisses me off. Because I've found what I want to fucking do. This is what I want to do with the rest of my life. And, you know, when I'm 80, I want to be doing this. If I make it to 80, which as much as I drink and smoke, probably won't. But, happy thoughts. Speaking of happy thoughts, though, Brexit happened. Congratulations, England, on getting out from under the EU. Well, basically getting out from under the EU. There's still... You know, they still have to invoke, I think it's like Article 50 of the Lisbon Treaty to make it official. But the people have pretty much spoken, and Brexit has, like, lit a fire in the EU. There's lots of, like, France is talking about getting an EU referendum to see whether or not they want to stay. Even fucking Germany is they're doing the Dexit. Because it's in their native language. In German, it's Deutschland, not Germany. Which, that's just fucking weird. Like the only one that even... I saw a post on, I think it was Tumblr about this. Like, all of the different names that Germany has in all of the different languages in the world. The only one that comes close is Japanese. They call it Deutsch. Or Deutsch. I can't remember the exact pronunciation, but it's like they tried. They at least fucking tried to keep the native pronunciation a little bit. They tried. Everybody else was just like, no, fuck you. We're gonna call you whatever we want. Maybe that's what caused some resentment in Germany and, like, led to the the world wars. I don't know. But even Germany is thinking about getting out of the EU, so good on you, Britain. And I really, really have to give it up to Nigel Farage. And I'm not gonna, like, spend all day singing this guy's praises, but that dude has brass fucking balls, man. He got up in front of the EU and basically just, like, pulled his balls out and just started stamping official papers with his nutsack. Like, he just read them the fucking riot act, dude. It was so hard to watch, but so gratifying, because he just basically got up there and just started, like, slapping people with his penis. And, and it was so fucking funny to me, because he was just like, I know that, you laughed at me when I said I wanted to lead a party to get England out of the EU. Well, you're not laughing now, and I know that most of you have never worked a real job a day in your fucking lives. It was just like, why don't you just, like, pull out a gun and fucking murder them right there, and just, like, take their souls and put it in a mayonnaise jar and set it on your shelf in your fucking living room, dude. Like, just take everybody's reproductive organs and put them in formaldehyde and just, like, decorate a wall of your house with it. Like, yes, that was the time I confiscated the balls and ovaries of everybody in the EU Council. He came right for their fucking souls, dude. It was so brutal. But yeah, like, the whole Brexit thing. I've seen a lot of people on both sides going back and forth about this. And the only person on the Remain side that I've talked to that had a cogent argument for remaining wasn't even really for remaining. He voted Remain, but his principles told him they should leave. But he said that looking at the situation that England is in, that the UK is in objectively, they have, like, no industry. They're just not financially viable on their own, which is fair. That's a fair argument. You know what I mean? I'm not really well versed on the economy in England right now. I know that after the Brexit vote came in, the pound dropped more than it had in something like, I want to say it was either since the 80s or in 80 years. I can't remember which one, and I can't be fucked to fact check right now. I'm tired. But there was an 80 in there somewhere. But, like, the next day, it had gotten back half of what it had lost. And it just kind of went along as normal, and it's basically back to where it was, so far as I know anyway. But so far as, like, the industry thing, that makes sense, because for the longest time, England has been an empire power. You know what I mean? They're a very small island that ruled half the fucking world. And all of their industry and resources and all of the shit that would normally, like, you play Civilization, and you start out and you have this little area and you start branching out and taking resources and getting the ability to turn those resources into currency and shit like that. Well, England started out on an island. That's how their game of Civilization started. They started out on an island, and they went from that island and started taking over the entire fucking world. And all of their industry and everything was in other countries. So now that they don't have the empire anymore, and then they got into the EU, they were kind of reliant on economic trade from the EU, but the EU is stagnating. So there's not really a good reason to stay. There's not very many good reasons to leave, but in my opinion, it's like how Sargon was saying, no one sings the praises of the EU. Everybody knows the EU is stagnating. It's going downhill. Europe has seen better days, and it's not looking like it's going to get better. So, wouldn't it be better to take the uncertainty that could turn out to be a good thing rather than stay with a bad thing because that's just the way it's been for the past however the fuck long? That's kind of the way I see it. Yeah, there's going to be hard times ahead for the UK. I'm not even kind of gonna deny that. Yes, that's gonna happen. But if you can work around it, if you can stiffen your upper lip and keep calm and carry on and find a niche in the market that you can satisfy collectively as a country, if you can find a niche in the market that you can satisfy, then your economy will be just fine. It's just finding that thing. And that might be a long, hard search. So, you know, I don't know what Britain's going to do. I don't even know if they're actually going to leave. You know, the next prime minister, because the pig fucker, Cameron, that's his name, Cameron. Yeah, so pig fucker resigned after that fucking happened, and he's got like 3 months where he's going to like, I guess end out his term, and then, you know, fuck off to his house in the hills or wherever the fuck. And somebody else is going to be the prime minister, and it'll be up to the new prime minister to invoke Article 50 of the Lisbon Treaty. And then that'll finalize everything. You know, Europe, Britain will be able to finally leave the EU. So, I wish the UK all the best. I really hope that everything works out for you guys. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for a few years. But you're going to start to like that freedom. Trust me. Trust me. I mean, America went through kind of the same thing, but it's not really fair to compare America and their quote-unquote Brexit to what Britain is doing right now, because like I said, Britain is an island. So in America, you had like this vast country where it's just like, all right, well, we'll just go that way until we find something that we can sell. And, you know, you didn't really have to fucking worry about it. 'Cause if nothing else, there's trees. You can export lumber. Plenty of lumber. Britain don't really got that. They kind of need all of their trees. They won't have wind anymore. No, I'm just kidding. I know that there's, like, global wind currents and shit, and Britain won't be like windless if they cut down all the trees. I know that's not how it fucking works. I'm making a joke. But yeah, it's gonna be rough for a couple of years, Britain. UK peoples. But you'll come out better on the other side. I'll almost guarantee it. Or, you know, Germany could go fucking psycho again. Or you could get taken over by Muslims. That could happen. You know. But the one thing that really, really bothers me, speaking about the Muslim thing, the one thing that really bothers me, I was listening to, what was it? Was it Pseudopod? Hang on, let me grab my phone. I'm pretty sure it was Pseudopod, because it's that British fucker, Alistair. Alistair? I guess Alistair is how he pronounces it. Let me see here. Was it... Do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-boo-boo-boo. I'll find it. Hang on. I'll find it. Don't worry. God damn, I'm subscribed to a lot of podcasts. Hardly any of these fucking update, though. Piss me off. Let me see. It wasn't Killer. So shut the final door. Voyage in the ship. The last escapement. It must not have been. Maybe it was Escape Pod. Because I listened to some Escape Pod too today. Yeah, it was Julie and Ertl was the name of the story. Joolie and IRDL. Ertl. Julie and Ertl. It was a really good story. I mean, it was a little bit... Like they say at the beginning of the podcast that like this features like semi-graphic depictions of like alien and human intercourse, but it's not really like a blue story. It's not like a fuck story. It's more of a romantic story that just kind of has like sexual aspects to it, which is fine. It didn't come off as a like quote unquote dirty story to me. But like at the very end, he was talking about how, you know, there are people in Britain that are worrying about their family members who weren't born in Britain. Well, if they're citizens, they don't have anything to worry about. Like, we get the same shit here in America from the people who just hate Donald Trump. And I'm not a fan, okay? I'm not a fan. However, However, a lot of the stuff that is said about Donald Trump is flat out fucking lies. That's just the way it is. Like, he's not really said anything racist. I mean, he's badly phrased things about certain demographics in certain countries, but it wasn't really anything that you could seriously look at and say, well, I mean, he's an idiot, but I don't think he actually hates Hispanic people. You know, he's concerned about illegal immigration, and the people who are illegally immigrating to the country are criminals. And not just criminals by virtue of the fact that they broke the immigration laws, like, you know, drug smugglers and rapists and people like that. That's what he's worried about, and maybe he's blowing that out of proportion, but it's still a valid worry, even if you kind of set aside the whole illegal immigration thing. But that's what it's about. Like, I've heard people talking shit about how, like, if Donald Trump gets elected, then he's going to, like, send all of the Hispanics back to their countries of origin. And, oh my God, my grandmother is not going to be allowed to live in the U.S. anymore. Well, is your grandmother a citizen? Then she's a fucking American. You know, if you've got dual citizenship, cool. But if you've got citizenship here, you're a fucking American. That's how that works. If you have American citizenship, if you emigrated to this country legally, and you went through all of this, you got your fucking green card, you got your citizenship papers all filled out and dotted your I's and crossed your T's, you're an American. You don't have shit to worry about. If you're worried about your family members getting deported, that means that they're illegal. If your family members are not illegal, if they are not here illegally, they have nothing to worry about, because he can't revoke their citizenship and send them home. That's not how it works. We have authorities higher than the president that will step in and make sure that that does not happen. Okay? Like, you don't have anything to worry about. So to those people in Britain who are worried about, oh my God, are we going to be sent home? Well, are you there legally? Then you're good. You're good. As long as you're not fucking shit up, you know, as long as you're not ghettoizing yourself, then you should be okay. Because I've seen video from neighborhoods in London where it's not like you can't go there if you're white. You will die before you walk through that neighborhood. Before you get out the other end, you'll die. You'll be attacked. I've seen people fucking attacked for being there and being white. Or having a reputation for speaking out against Islam. You know, that's a fucking problem. But if those people are there legally, you know, or if they're actually legitimate refugees, which is another thing that Britain needs to do, is set up a process for vetting their refugees, which is also what Donald Trump was talking about with the Muslim thing. He wants to stop immigration from majority Muslim countries, which now includes most of Europe, I think. He wants to stop immigration from majority Muslim countries until we get a vetting process in place where we can figure out who these people are and where they're coming from and what ties they have to what organizations. That's what he's talking about. He's not talking about kicking out the Muslims who are already here legally. So far as I know, that never cropped up in a speech of his. Now, if you've got evidence to the contrary, then post a link in the comments or fuck off. You know, I'm not trying to hear any of this feels over facts bullshit. You show me the video where Donald Trump said he's going to send all of the Mexicans and all of the Muslims out of America. Show me the video. Or piss off. But just calm down. Calm down. Even if that was his plan, even if he was running with that as his explicit plan, which I don't even think that's his implicit plan, but just to be charitable to these wrong-headed ideas, if that was his plan, he still wouldn't be able to do it. He would still have to get Congress and the Supreme Court and all of these other organizations in government behind him. The president is not a godhead. The president is not a monarch. Like, that's one of the things that Obama seems to have fucking forgot over the course of his presidency, is that you're not allowed to make laws. You're the president, not the legislative branch. You're the executive branch. You were not appointed by God or even the people to quote-unquote fix this country without the consent of the governed. And Obama, frankly, has set a dangerous precedent with things like these executive orders. It's very worrying to watch someone like Hillary Clinton vying for an office that has been allowed for the past 8 years to have power outside of its designated sphere of influence. I mean, it even worries me to have Donald Trump going up there, even though I think he's too fucking, out of his mind to do anything with it. He's not stupid. He's definitely not stupid. You don't become a billionaire being stupid. It doesn't work like that. Donald Trump probably has a fairly decent IQ. He's probably somewhere around 100, 120, somewhere in there. Smart people can believe stupid things and do stupid things, but I don't think Donald Trump is stupid. But, the way he treats things like the First Amendment, the way he goes after people who talk shit about him, it's very worrying to me. And it should be worrying to you, too. But I don't think Donald Trump would be as damaging as Hillary Clinton. What am I saying? God, listen to me. I'm so fucking disheartened by this election that I'm actually, thinking that Donald Trump might be worth a vote. Jesus Christ, I've lost my fucking mind. I've completely lost the plot. Help! I need more alcohol. Neither of them are good candidates, okay? Neither of them. I don't like either of them. I'm probably not going to vote for either of them. I just think it's kind of funny that Donald Trump is probably going to win because there's a lot of dumb Democrats out there who think that writing in Bernie's name is going to do anything but split the Democratic vote and get Donald Trump the majority. But better they do that than actually vote Hillary in. I think I would rather see, out of the two, you put a gun to my head, I have to choose right now which one I'd rather have in the White House. Donald Trump. I'd rather see Donald Trump in the White House than Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton is fucking dangerous. She's a criminal. She's just an evil human being. Donald Trump is just kind of goofy. Kind of dumb. Says a lot of dumb things. But he uses the best words. He's got the best words, everybody. He's got a very good brain. He's got a very good brain. Fucking hate that man. But no, that's just people just need to calm down. That's what it all kind of really amounts to. Is people just need to calm down, take a step back, and let's have an actual dialogue and let facts rise to the top and decide policy. That's what we need to do. We need to get over, collectively, humanity as a whole, needs to get over this whole rhetoric, feels-driven bullshit. And most people, myself included, are subject to this. So I'm not, exempting myself from this referendum or judgment or whatever. But that's what we need to do. We need to get rid of this feels-based bullshit. That's why assault rifle has become a term that people are seriously using. It's a nonsense term. I'll almost guarantee you that the vast majority of anti-gun or gun control people out there think that AR stands for assault rifle. It doesn't. It stands for Armalite Rifle, which is the company that makes guns like the AR-15. Armalite. You can look it up. I'm not bullshitting you. Assault rifle is such a nebulous, nonsense, feelsy term that it's meant to be an emotional term to grab, oh, it's an assault rifle. That sounds bad. You immediately start getting visions of, Rambo and the Terminator in your head. Or, I don't fucking know. Who's an action hero from this era? I don't watch movies. But, these people use terms like this. They use terms like mass shooting, which, I hate the comparison to Australia, because apparently, the way they did it in Australia is before the buyback, quote unquote, before the forced confiscation in Australia, mass shooting meant one thing, and then later they changed it to mean another thing, to have a higher body count, so that it looked like the gun confiscation program had an effect on quote unquote mass shootings. And they do that fucking same scummy bullshit here in America, too. Like, for example, and I've probably said this before, but fuck it. It bears repeating. A mass shooting is whenever 4 people die. That's the way most people who use the term mass shooting mean it. At least 4 people die. Now, that doesn't sound bad until you realize that I could walk into a mall with my pistol that I bought legally, that I cleared all of the background check and everything, and I could shoot 3 people in the head. I could just walk up behind a family of 3, shoot all 3 of them in the head, and then shoot myself, and as soon as I die by my own hand, my body is included in the count with the victims of my crime, and then it becomes a mass shooting. How fucked up is that? That's so fucking evil and scummy to do that to the victims of that crime, to lump their murderer in with them as a quote-unquote casualty. No, that fucker got what he deserved. He's not a casualty. And he definitely doesn't deserve to be lumped in with his victims, or her victims, depending. You know, San Bernardino had a woman in it. Just like the anti-gun people are very much feels over facts. And they use a lot of really scummy tactics. And I don't really think that most of them know they're using these tactics. It just kind of comes... It just gets blown up in the zeitgeist. Zeitgeist? I think it's zeitgeist. It just gets swept up in the zeitgeist, and then all of this quote-unquote information, this misinformation gets passed around and passed around and passed around enough, and people just start to accept it out of hand because they've heard it so often, which, you know, there's 2 very good quotes here, and I wish I can remember both of them the whole way through. But I think it was Winston Churchill who said, "A lie gets halfway around the world before the truth has pulled its boots on." And I can't remember who said the second one, but if it might have been Goebbels. But if you repeat a lie long enough, eventually it becomes truth. That's kind of how this operates. There's a lot of people out there who've heard these lies so many times that they just accept that prima facie is true. They just bold-face, that must be what it is, because why would they keep saying it if it wasn't true? And you really do need to get in and do your research. You honestly want to know what the fucking cure is for anti-gun syndrome? Go buy one. Dead serious. Go fucking buy one. After you've gone through all of the rigmarole and had to fill out those forms and have your background check done and have to sit in that fucking gun shop for, at this point, it's fairly well sped up because everything's done by computers nowadays. So all they really have to do is, like, call up, like, well, in my state, it's SLED. So you go into the gun store and you're like, all right, I want that one. And they're like, okay, well, this one has this, and do you need anything else with it? And, you know, we've got ammo for it over there, and you can buy a couple of extra magazines or clips or whatever. And you're like, okay, yeah, I got everything I want. And they're like, all right, well, we're going to need, like, your ID. And, like, I think they needed my social security number and stuff like that. So I gave them my social security card and my driver's license and everything, and they took them back into the back room. And then they called up SLED, and they were like, hey, we need a background check done on this guy. They faxed them my information. You know, they made copies, and they faxed them. And then SLED went through, and they did a background check on me, and I don't have any crimes that would preclude me from buying a gun on my record. I haven't been declared mentally incompetent or anything like that. So they were like, yeah, sure, okay, he's fine. He's clear, go ahead. And then they sold me the gun. Like, you know, $400 later, I was out of it. Or was it $200? I don't remember. I think it was closer to 2. Probably actually closer to 3, because I did buy some ammunition and an extra clip. But yeah, just, it's not as easy to buy a gun as people think. Like, a lot of people make the comparison between cars. Well, cars kill more people a year than guns do. And it's easier to get a driver's license than it is to get a gun. You need a driver's license or equivalent ID to get a gun. You know, it's a lot easier to get a driver's license than it is to get a gun. And I honestly, like, there's some gun control things out there that I'm not against, honestly, to be quite honest. There's some things that I think should be, that are termed common sense gun control, that I think should be enacted. For example, I think that we should have classes in school with licensed CWP trainers. CWP is a concealed weapons permit. With licensed CWP trainers who will come in, and I think that we should institute this in elementary school, just to get kids, used to it. And teach them respect for what they're putting in their hands early on, because that's how it was with me. My dad bought my brother and I a couple of .22 rifles, and .22 isn't very big. It can still kill you, but it's severely less likely. Well, no, that's not entirely true, because a .22 doesn't have enough, like with like a 38 or a 357 or something like that, it's got enough force to go through you. Like, there's a point of entry and a point of exit with higher bore ammunition. But a .22 just kind of they can shoot you in the leg with a .22 and pull it out of your, like, next to your collarbone. And it can just fuck up your entire internal organs while it's in there. So 22s are actually pretty fucking deadly. But anyway, he got us some 22s, and he took us out in the woods. We were really young. I was probably like 10, maybe earlier in my life. My brother, he's 4 years younger than me, so he was like 4 to 6, somewhere in there. And he took us out, and he was like, all right, this is how it works. You never point this end at anybody that you don't want to kill. You be very, very careful about this. You keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to pull it. It has incredible destructive power. You need to respect the weapon at all times. You need to be extremely careful about it. And we were very well supervised, and we were taught the ins and outs of how to operate a gun. And then he set up some targets, like some Coke bottles and shit like that, and or like paper targets on a tree. And we just sat there and we shot. And I was actually a pretty good shot when I was a little kid. I don't know. I haven't been shooting in, for fucking ever. So I don't know how good of a shot I am now. I can't imagine it's deteriorated all that much. I'm probably just out of practice. But, started out at elementary school and take them to the gun range and have like a cop, if it would make people feel better, have a cop or a CWP trainer to get up there and explain to the kids what a gun is, and then take them one at a time, because you don't want a room full of children with guns. You just take them one at a time, and you bring them into the shooting range, and it's like, all right, there's the target, you aim like this, you squeeze the trigger, don't pull it, keep your breath steady, there you go. And then it gets kids used to guns, and they know how to handle it, and they know what it can do, and they have a lot more respect for it instilled in them at a young age. I think that would be very helpful. I think that we should institute that in public school. I think that should be shooting should be a public school class. Like, gun safety and ownership should be a public school class, in my opinion. And I'm not saying that we should send these kids home with guns, and you can opt your kids out if you want and shit like that. Like, make it all very, very libertarian, but, if you're in public school, chances are greater that you're going to get a gun safety course when you're very young. It's something that I would be very, very behind. I would go, honestly, if I had the fucking time, like if I get this voice acting thing off the ground and that becomes a thing, I would go and get a CWP license and go through the qualifications to train them, and then go teach a class like that to young kids about gun safety. I would volunteer my time in that, because I think that's worthwhile. I think part of the reason that a lot of people die from gun violence is because they just don't know what they're doing with it. They've never had somebody sit them down and explain what a gun is and what it does and why you need to have respect for it and, how to clean it and all of that stuff. They've just never had anybody walk them through it, and they don't know what the fuck they're doing when they get one. Like, I've read probably dozens of stories online about guys who are posting stories about, they had like gangster friends. Like, these people were in, like, dealing crack and shit, and they just had guns, and one of them had his gun out, and he was like, hey man, have you ever cleaned that fucking thing? Clean it? You have to clean it? Yeah, and then he, like, showed him how to break the gun down and oil it and clean it and everything like that. Like, a lot of these people just don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know how to own a gun. They don't know how to care for a gun. They don't know how to shoot properly. They don't know that you're supposed to keep the safety on at all times. You never put your piece by your piece. Don't stick your gun in your pants. Get a holster, you know, that kind of thing. There's a lot of common sense around guns that goes over a lot of people's heads because they've never had an experienced person walk them through it before. And it's kind of disheartening to see, and I would love to see the American educational system take steps to correct that. But no, guns are scary, and we can't have guns around kids, and schools are gun-free zones, and this and because, yeah, let's just turn all of our fucking elementary schools where all of our fucking children congregate into soft targets. Beautiful. That's a great fucking idea. I'd like to meet the liberal who came up with that and just slapped the piss out of them. Because that's the reason that school shootings happen. Because there's one person there with a gun, and God knows where that person might be. You know, sometimes the security officer for a school doesn't even have a gun. I've seen people, like, bow up to security officers and knock them the fuck out. It happened when I was in school. You know, I've heard countless stories from friends and people that I've known who've just, like, bowed up to security officers at schools and just did nothing. The security officer did nothing. They could have had that dude's gun. And that's another thing, is that, like, all of this gun control shit, like, liberals are so incompetent, and I don't identify as a conservative, okay? But liberals are so fucking incompetent about this shit. Like the guy that tried to assassinate Donald Trump. Alright, look. Donald Trump is a very public figure, and he probably gets death threats all the time. First off, alright? Second off, he wears a bulletproof vest everywhere he goes. You know why he wears a bulletproof vest? Because most people are going to be shooting at body mass. That's where you're damn near certain to get a good shot, to get a clean shot in. You're definitely certain to hit him you're almost certain to hit him if you aim for body mass, right? This dude had never touched a gun in his fucking life before that day. He went to a gun range and played around with a gun and practiced for like an hour. Did not bring a gun in with him. Tried to steal a cop's gun off of his fucking belt and then shoot Donald Trump with it. Like, that plan was going to go fucking anywhere. The moment that cop felt his gun jiggle, it was over. Like, how can you be that completely fucking incompetent? It's just like, this is why gun control is a losing issue for Democrats and liberals. That's why. Because you're so fucking ridiculously incompetent and you know almost nothing about guns. You don't know what you're talking about, and you're begging that everybody come into your paranoid delusional fever dream and eat fucking lotus plants with you. And just exist in this opiate dream that you've concocted about guns where you know fuck all, but think you should still be taken seriously. I don't understand how this mentality develops. Do you people think that this is just like any other thing? Because in a way it is, and in a way it isn't. Like any other thing, like cars, you don't have to know how to repair a car to own one, right? Unless you want to pay for somebody to clean your gun or your car, it kind of behooves you to know how to do it. To repair it or clean it or whatever. But you have to actually be willing to take those steps. You have to actually go out and do research and learn about the thing that you're trying to speak with authority on, or else no one is going to fucking take you seriously. And you shouldn't be taken seriously when you come up with bullshit like this. Like the whole car comparison and shit. It's just... It's so fucking headache inducing because these people don't understand how stupid they sound. And like, I'm so fucking sick. This is the one thing that really, really kills me about the gun control crowd. I mean, really pisses me off about the gun control crowd. The whole, oh, nobody's coming to take your guns. We just want to ban this particular type of gun. Well, motherfucker, you don't even know what constitutes that particular type of gun. Like long rifles. Okay, what's a long rifle? Because my shotgun is probably longer than your long rifle. Is my shotgun a long rifle now? It's not a rifle. Do you know? No, you fucking don't. Or assault rifle. Or assault weapon. Motherfucker, I can pick up this here beer mug right here and bash it over somebody's fucking skull and use the glass shards to gouge out their goddamn eyes. That beer mug has become an assault weapon. I've assaulted somebody with it as a weapon. Boom, I fulfilled the fucking requirements. My pistol could be an assault weapon if I use it to assault somebody. And let us be clear, assault and self-defense are two very, very fucking different things. Okay? Good. I'm glad we got that out of the way. You're not assaulting somebody by defending yourself. And now I don't know, and this is another problem here. Like, oh, you don't need guns? Only the police should have guns. Why do you need a gun? We should just give guns to the cops. And it's like, oh yeah, the same cops that you think are all racist, evil monsters who just shoot and kill people with impunity every day of the year in every major city. Those are the guys you want to have guns. Remind me how you're the smart side of this argument again. Not only are you mislabeling the cops in an effort to demonize them, you're also saying that these people that you think are evil, rapacious, bloodied ogres are the only ones that should have guns. Are you fucking serious? Get your ideologies straight so that you have a coherent worldview, okay? This is something that I try to do a lot. I do a lot of sitting down and I really examine where I stand on several issues, and then I compare those issues to other areas that I have opinions on. Like the men's rights stuff, and the MGTOW stuff, and the gun rights stuff, and all of that shit. I take all of my little things. It's like, okay, well, these two positions seem similar on the surface, and I agree with one and I disagree with another. So is there a legitimate reason for me disagreeing with this and agreeing with this when they seem so similar? You really have to take in perspectives like that and really question what you believe and why you believe it, and are your beliefs consistent with one another? And if they're not, if these two issues on the face of it are very similar, you need to have very good, well-worked out reasons as to why you believe two different ways on these issues, and there may very well be. But I think that would help a lot of liberals out if they just took a step back, calmed down, and then came to an honest and objective conclusion about this. Just do some soul searching and compare your beliefs on things, because this whole all cops are evil and racist and nobody should have guns but the cops thing is very baffling to me. Very baffling to me. Or the whole, only white people ever enslaved another group of people. And then you find out that, African countries had empires too, some of them that spanned into Europe. And you're like, oh yeah, man, fucking, who said that black people, their whole history started at slavery and shit like that? Well, nobody. You just think that way because you're dumb and you didn't pay attention in history class. But those are two mutually exclusive ideas. You cannot believe that only white people are evil and racist and had empires and slaves, and then celebrate black empires and empires that had slaves and shit like that, and still demonize white people. You get your shit straight. Get your shit together. Get it all together. Put it in a bag. If you got to take it to the shit store and sell it, then do that. Or put it in a shit museum. But just get all your shit together, okay? Liberals, good. I'm glad we had this fucking talk. Because I honestly do think you guys think that you're doing the right thing. I really, really, truly do. I think that you have everyone's best interests at heart and you have good intentions. But there's a very good reason that saying about the road to hell being paved with good intentions is so ubiquitous and said so often. Because it really fucking is. And I mean, you want to talk about like Donald Trump. Like, liberals are the ones who are leading this nation into fascistic police state territory. That's where it's coming from. This whole, you can't say this, you can't own that, you can't exercise this right, you can't do this, you can't do that. That's fascist. Right there. That's wrong think. Thought crime. And it's all coming from the left. And it's very, very, very worrying. Especially since some of the people who are espousing these opinions are in positions of power and are able to do things about it. You know, they're very power-hungry people. And they hold mutually contradictory opinions and outright anti-democratic and just anti-freedom. Literally anti-freedom. And I know that that's going to say, oh, the Americans talking about freedom. No, I'm serious. Like, you're free to assemble, your freedom to assemble, your freedom to say whatever you want, as long as it's not like fire in a crowded theater. Or an incitement to commit a crime. You know, your freedom of the press, all of that shit, all that little Bill of Rights shit, poof, bye-bye. The liberals are the ones who are trying to make that go away. I literally saw somebody fucking say, in all seriousness, that freedom of speech is a cheap cover to propagate ideas that oppress people. Like, are you fucking serious? Are you insane? You have completely lost your fucking mind. Okay, you really think that? Go live in North fucking Korea and tell me how much you like it better than America. Alright? Go live in North Korea for 6 months, and then you come back here and tell me you're not going to be sucking back McDonald's cheeseburgers, loving the shit out of capitalism, and complaining very loudly about the dictatorship in North Korea, saying things that would have gotten you thrown into a labor camp or just killed outright 2 months ago. Go do that for me, and then come back to America and tell me how much fucking better North Korea is. I fucking dare you. You're able to. You're able to go to North Korea. So far as I know, you can travel there if you want. You could probably even apply for citizenship. Go for it. Put your money where your fucking mouth is, communists. And leftist fascists. Because right now, the right isn't the ones that we have to worry about. The right are the ones who are standing up for free speech and freedom to assemble and all of the other rights that were codified by our founding fathers. They're the ones who are standing up for it. The left are the dangerous ones right now that need to be taken down a fucking peg. And it's really sad how far they've fallen. Sorry. Jesus, I got fucking passionate there for a minute. But that's me. I can never fucking shut up about my political opinions. I'm way too goddamn honest. And this is my place to vent. So I guess that's what I'm doing. Oh, God. Let me see how long I've been rambling on for. An hour? Okay. Yeah, that's not bad. Alright. Well, I'm really sorry that this podcast is late. Again, guys, I'm really sorry about the lack of content. I actually have a legitimate excuse. I really do want to work on this shit, but like I say, I'm either working or asleep. And the insomnia is coming back. I think that's part of what's making me so irritable. Like, I used to smoke a lot of weed, and I never had dreams. I know you have dreams, you just don't remember them. Yeah, fuck you, fuck off. No, I just didn't have dreams. I would go to sleep, and then I would wake up in the morning, and I would be fully rested, and it would be awesome. And then, like, I stopped smoking weed, and all I had were fucking nightmares. Like, my insomnia came back hard. All I had were fucking nightmares. I would have nights where I would have dreams so bad that I would just wake up in a cold fucking sweat and I would not be able to get back to sleep no matter how hard I tried. Like, I would wake up, I would, like, take a shot of something, fiddle around on the computer or whatever, just try to distract myself, and then try to go back to sleep. I wouldn't be able to get back to sleep. And then now, I don't know what the fucking deal is. Maybe I'm getting healthy or something. I don't know. But, I've been having these weird, like, dreams that are trying to be nightmares, but not really. But they're still fucking keeping me up at night. Because I don't know what it is, but when I'm dreaming, I'm not resting. You know? I'm like... I don't really know how to describe it. I'm just not getting good sleep. But, yeah, that's basically where I'm at. I'm either at work or I'm asleep. And that's why I haven't uploaded anything. And I'm really fucking sorry about that. I'm going to get back on track as soon as possible, guys. But I've got another couple of weeks of hell coming up. Because the new girl quit at my day job. And it's going to be another, like, probably 2 weeks of 6-day weeks. So it's probably going to be another 50-hour week. And that's going to be fun. Plus, like I say, Mr. Beery has gotten back to me with the 8th book in the series that I'm going to be doing. And he really liked my first one. He said I knocked it out of the park. So I'm really happy about that. You know, hopefully there'll be work for months and months and months with that guy. You know, very, very good working relationship. I really like that kind of, you know, all right, here's the thing, and then he just disappears, and then, you know, I do my work, and I turn it in, and then he's like, okay, yeah, you did great, I loved it, here's the next one, and then he disappears. It's like the best boss-employee relationship ever. Zero micromanaging, I like that. Oh, God. But, yeah, guys, like I say, I'm going to get back on track here as soon as possible. I just need to find time to do it. This past, like, couple of months has been just absolute hell. So, I don't know what to say. I'm going to get back on track. I'm not trying to stilt you guys on content. I really, really want to get this shit done. This is what I love to do. This is what I want to be doing. This is what I'd much rather be doing than, you know, standing in a warehouse sorting products with no air conditioning. Just a big old fan, and I'm swimming in my clothes. But, yeah, anyway, if I don't have anything up, I'm going to try and get some more Sherlock Holmes stuff recorded tomorrow, which is probably going to be today for you guys, depending on how this goes up, because it's probably not going to get uploaded until I'm ready to go to fucking bed. And tonight's Pathfinder night. Shit. Yeah, I'm recording this on Saturday, so I'm sorry that this is late, too. But, yeah, we'll be getting back on track, hopefully, in a couple of weeks here. I'm going to try and take some time to get back on track and record a bunch of shit, so that I can just edit it together and throw it up. And have something out there, because I'm really, really fucking mad at my schedule. Not at myself, because the drive is there. If I didn't have all of this other shit going on, I would be putting up videos 3 times a week like I promised I would. And I don't like breaking promises. That's just, that fucking bothers me. But that's about it. It was good chilling with you guys. I hope you all are have had a lovely weekend so far. I hope you have a good week. Happy America Day, by the way. Happy America Day. You know, it is America Day, or it will be, here in a couple of days. And yeah, I'll catch you all next week. So, you know, don't drink yourself to death, be careful with your fireworks, and celebrate America. Peace out, y'all.